For most of us, July 1st, 2018 was just another summer day. But for Walpole's Chris Wagner, it's the day his boyhood dreams became a reality. It was the day his hometown Boston Bruins put pen to paper with a young man who embodies everything it means to be a Boston Bruin. Yeah, the path to the Bruins was a tough one, but the kid's a grinder. He's a get-it-doner. And Chris Wagner is the kind of guy that finds a way to make it happen, even when most people might just give up. So sit down, relax, grab your little cup of hot cocoa or whatever else it is you choose to sip on, because tonight, I'm with Chris Wagner of the Boston Bruins. And tonight is Hockey Night in New England.
I hear him chatting the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. Hot like fire on the pan, if you want to touch me, please use caution.
This has been my room where I grew up since I was 5 years old. Hasn't changed a heck of a lot. These are a lot of my trophies from when I played youth hockey. Like this is shouldn't even be a trophy, it's participation. Nord Nuggets, 1995 learn to skate. This is like winning a Christmas tournament up in Marlboro. Who's in this? That's Noel Achari. That's Kevin Hayes. And that's me. So we had a pretty decent team. A couple other guys played college hockey too. My dad played hockey in high school. We would watch the Bruins games, and I remember watching Cam Neely and Ray Bork.
I got him a stick when he was little. I used to roll him a tennis ball in the kitchen when he was 2, and he could take one-timers.
Out front, get it out front to Neely. Get it in. Ray Bork.
He was his coach. One of the first things that he would say, every time that you play, do something out there so you won't be forgotten.
Just like any other young hockey player, Chris started his journey playing for youth teams in and around his hometown in Walpole. And by the time high school rolled around, it was time to start playing with and against the best Massachusetts had to offer. For Chris, that meant Zavarian Brothers High School.
Yeah, high school was different. Again, even then, 10 years, 12 years ago as it is today. But yeah, he seemed to every year just kind of try to make the next step.
Freshman year, I played JV and a little bit of varsity, but you'd think as a freshman stud that you'd play all the time on varsity. Didn't really happen. And then my sophomore year, I got better. I played a lot on varsity, had a good amount of points, and then my junior year, I was like, well, I'm gonna blow it out of the water now. Certainly didn't. I think I had 2 goals through like 20 games. Had a pretty good Super 8 though, and that was the most fun I had all year.
He took every shift as his last one, and it was just great to watch because he competed at such a high level, and you could see that transcend off the ice in the weight room. The work he did with EPS and Brian McDonough was really what built out his frame, and it changed his game.
Bailey, you guys got a good crew over here today.
Yep.
Give me the history of EPS and Brian McDonough.
Yeah, so Bry's been here about 15 years now. Started off with a lot of the Patriots guys, a lot of local talent. Obviously, the hockey population just kind of comes here.
Got a couple pros coming in.
Yeah, here and there, 1 or 2.
What is it that's drawn those guys to EPS and to Brian?
I think it's just the culture in here, you know what I mean? Like, the gym's got that dungeon kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Blue collar, hard work, and work ethic.
It's a pretty cool place in here.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
like it's gritty enough, right?
Yeah.
Which makes it feel like you should be working out in this spot
absolutely.
too.
It doesn't matter who you are, age, what sport you play. Everyone's gonna get treated the exact same. We demand excellence out of our staff and what we're producing for the athletes, and we're gonna keep on producing what we produce.
Yeah. So give us an idea of what we're gonna see today, because today's Boxing Day with the guys. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so weight room wise won't be too crazy. Hockey season's right around the corner.
Yeah.
So kind of decrease the volume in the weight room.
Right.
And kind of focus on more conditioning
Okay.
on the ice, and then we got some boxing going on today. So just some more non-impact conditioning. Just really kind of working cardiovascular system. And obviously, if something happens on the ice, you gotta be able to throw hands when the time calls. You know what I mean? So
one of my favorite parts of the game. I got to be honest. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Joel. How you doing?
Good to see you.
Nice to see you again.
So I'm here with Paul Stanton,
Nice to see you, Joel.
old friend in the
Old friend.
hockey world. So
Great to see you again.
Sports Etc. One of my favorite places to come anytime I'm looking for hockey equipment for the kids. But I think one of the things I like most is getting to see you and Paul Jr. as well. One of the last real mom and pop, non-big box owned stores.
right.
Tell me a little bit about the history.
Yep. Sports Etc. started in 1980. We've been going in business for 40 years. We look like a box store, but we definitely have that family feel when you come in here.
Anybody who's played hockey in the area, especially Arlington, knows that Sports Etc. is is the place to come. Anytime you need to stick skates, I love it. So this is the skate wall. I mean, this is like, guys, this is unbelievable. It's almost unassuming when you walk in here.
Right.
But tell us about the evolution of the skate wall.
I redid the skate wall just when it came out of being shuttered from COVID, and I thought it came out terrific. We tried to incorporate all the skates. We have, I think you can't find a better selection of skates in all of Massachusetts.
And you got the 3D scanner here, which I think you're one of few stores.
Very few stores in New England that has it, and we were one of the first stores to carry it in Massachusetts. We've had it for about 5 years now.
So yeah, the benefit of this is they step into the machine barefoot, right?
Yep.
And it sort of analyzes everything about your foot, so you get the best fit
Full
possible.
3D scan of the foot, and you can really you can see it all. It's awesome.
I want to talk about goalies because you got an incredible goalie section over here.
We have one of the biggest goalie selections
it's
in
impressive.
all of Massachusetts.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at all the leg pads on the walls, and you got, I mean, again, you got the synthetic ice here as well.
Yes.
What are you guys doing with the synthetic ice related to
So
goalies?
we've had this down here for, probably 15 years now. So it's not like real ice. It's really expensive to run a compressor for indoor
little bit.
fitting on. Yep. But it's a polished surface. Allows kids to get the pads on, move around on them, get a true sense of what the pad's going to feel like before they get out on the ice, and it makes a difference. It tries to set us apart from a regular store that may not have these extra bennies.
And you got goalies coming from all over the place. You were telling me about somebody from Groveland who's
We did. We had
a
a customer drove down from Groveland, Mass. Earlier today, and he's got two goalies in the family, and he would not go any other store but ours.
And I keep hearing that, even from kids that I coach. I talk to their dads, and they say, hey, the only place we will go is to go down and see the stands at Sports Etc. So you're doing something right, but this is impressive. So, here it is.
Welcome back to the Stick Cellar.
Yeah, this is awesome. I mean, I love coming down here. I also like the fact that you got a little trivia about this room down here.
Yes. So this, when Sports Center started in 1980, it was 800 square feet. This room here is bigger than the original store.
Crazy. I mean, that is insane. You guys have come a long way.
We have come a long way.
This room is impressive because you have any stick possible that you need. You can find it here.
Yep.
I love it.
The kids can also go into the shooting booth and experiment with the sticks. It's incredible.
You actually get a nice, good feel for what suits you as a player. Really important. Hey, I want to take a look at Bauer's latest, the Geo. Tell me a little bit about this.
Yeah, so this is the new stick that just launched from Bauer this past November. It's got an unusual shape to it.
Yeah.
It gives you much better control with the stick. Great pop and an incredible feel. So
incredible feel. I mean, it really does feel different in your hands.
It does. Really shaped right around your palms.
Yeah.
It really is one of the lightest sticks out.
I love it down here, Paul. You guys have done a great job.
Yeah, thanks, Joel.
Towards the end of my first year on the Kings, I started getting some interest from schools. That's when Colgate offered me like a 3 for $4. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And that was my first real official offer. I mean, Northeastern said I could walk on. Ryan Donato's dad, Teddy, said I'd be a third liner at best in my college career at Harvard. I love reminding him about that.
I like to tease Teddy and say, I've called you twice, and Wags was one of them. And he laughed. He's like, yeah, you were right. But, it worked out great for Wags, but that was around the beginning of his junior year or more. And then Colgate came in a little later.
Going from really, not recruited at all to, a school like Colgate, we had always decided that we were going to use hockey to get a better education. And that was where it ended.
Prior to his senior year, Chris decided to take the next step, joining the South Shore Kings of the Eastern Junior Hockey League, where he would become teammates with fellow future Bruin, Charlie Coyle.
This is me and Chuck's South Shore Kings team. As you can see, I was the captain. I'm sure Coyle's told you about that. There he is, up there.
Yeah, it was odd because the year before his first draft year, he wasn't even really considered. It wasn't You know, we kind of went through and, you know, I think I was out and he was probably watching it, and we were talking about the kids who were getting picked, you know, that were his year. And, you know, nothing happened, and we kind of went on to the next year. As he said, you know, Charlie was there. Guys where Charlie was going to be a, you know, projected first-round pick, so you'd go to a Kings game and there'd be, you know, 30 guys in black coats sitting down the end of the rink, and you just kind of go, oh, geez, I wonder how this is going to pan out.
You know, he was a pretty highly touted player, and NHL teams would come and watch him. And I had a really good year that year too, so I think by them watching him, they also saw that, you know, I could play as well.
And then when I think the preseason rankings came out, he was ranked. So it was just kind of, oh, that's nice, you know, maybe. And as the midseason came out, he moved up, and the final rankings came out, and we were thinking it might, you know, this might happen.
The focus was the next step. It was always like going to college and getting into a good college, using hockey as a, you know, liaison to get into a good college. As far as playing professional, I was like, that sounds good, but what are the chances, truthfully, you know?
What were the chances? Well, that depends on who you ask. Luckily for Chris Wagner, he had the one man who thought the chances were good. Bob Murray, GM of the Anaheim Ducks, decided to take a chance on the small-town kid from 3,000 miles away.
Yeah, we were watching in the living room, and it went to commercial. And my junior coach's son, Matt Harlow, called me and was like, hey, you just got picked. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. By who? He said Anaheim. I was like, wow, you know, it's great. You get drafted in the NHL, but it's also across the country too. So that's a little bit scary.
So you're sitting around going, oh, this is great. It's like, and you're going to be in Anaheim on Monday.
It's funny because my husband would say, even though he was drafted, that doesn't mean he's going to necessarily play. And I would be like, he's going to play. He's going to play.
While playing for the Ducks AHL affiliate, Chris faced his toughest times as a hockey player. The constant grind for trying to keep a roster spot had him wondering if passing up the last 2 years at Colgate was the right call.
The first year, I didn't really expect to get called up. It was the lockout year. So we had a good amount of NHL guys on the team. So to be in the lineup every day in the AHL was tough at that time. Then my second year, I thought I was playing pretty well, and guys were getting called up left and right. So that year was a little tougher because, you know, I started to feel like I should be getting called up, and guys around you are getting called up, and you're like when am I going to get my chance? I was in Norfolk, Virginia, so you're doing 12-hour bus rides to Providence, Portland. You know, I think our closest bus ride was Hershey, and that was like 6 hours. So you just have a lot of time to think about, you know, what could happen. Do you even want to be doing this?
Sports Etc. Everything for hockey and more.
If you're looking for the best selection of everything for hockey and more, then come to Sports Etc. in Arlington, Mass. Since 1980, the experts at Sports Etc. have been properly fitting hockey players from beginners to pros, with trusted brands at great prices. Let the pros at Sports Etc. get you skating in the right direction. Visit Sports Etc. today for all your hockey needs.
Hey, I got Braden Pearl from Advancement Hockey Advising. Hey, Braden, how you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Good to have you. You're my first Zoom on camera here. So how do I look? Do I look okay?
Hey, you look great.
That's my theory. It's better to look good than to feel good. Don't forget that. So Braden, yeah, tell me a little bit about Advancement Hockey Advising. I get a lot of calls and a lot of interest from advisors or so-called advisors. So tell us a little bit about you guys.
Yeah, so basically we're a team of guys that have all played at the collegiate level for 4 years, each of us. And basically what we do is we use the experience that we had to try and help players get to that level too. So essentially in a nutshell, what we do is help hockey players advance to the next level. So if they're playing prep hockey, they want to get to junior A, we help them get there. If they're playing junior A, like the ultimate goal is to play NCAA hockey, we help them get there as well with all our contacts.
So Braden, a lot of people have come to me over the years, or I've seen them over the years, who call themselves an advisor, right? Yeah. Not all advisors are the same.
No, 100%. I would say the biggest things to look out for when you're looking at advisors, if they contact you, first of all, look them up on Elite Prospects. Do they have NCAA playing experience, right? That's the biggest thing. If they do, that means they found a way to get there effectively. The next thing, you know, how professional do they look? You know, when you talk to them, how professional do they sound? You know, look at their websites, their social media, look at what people are saying about them, you know, to really see if they're legit or not. And last thing too, make sure that, you know, your chemistry with them is good. If you're talking to them and you're not really feeling that chemistry, I would say maybe look for another family advisor.
All right, Braden, just give me a couple of success stories, like guys that you've helped get to that next level.
So basically, our first one was Dean Ostrovsky at Assumption College, an NCAA D2 commitment. They play against all the NCAA D3 schools. And then recently we've had, you know, a bunch of signings in the NOJHL. We've had Mark Hill sign for the Sioux Thunderbirds in the NOJHL. Sebastien Ouimet signed for the Cochrane Crunch, and we've had a bunch of others in that league too. We've had a couple in the CCHL as well.
So tell people how they can get a hold of you, AH Advising, website, Instagram.
Yeah, so basically Advancement Hockey Advising for our website. We have for our Facebook page. Our Instagram page is AH Advising, and our website is ahadvising.com.
All right, Braden, good to connect to you up there in Ottawa, Canada, and look forward to talking to you soon.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, Brian, so I've always noticed when I'm coaching kids, it doesn't matter what level. I mean, it could be youth hockey to the pros. A lot of times, you can never work on passing and shooting in stride enough. It's just something that you always have to stay on top of.
Yeah, fundamentals are everything. You know, I think sometimes in this game we get out here and we throw a bunch of stuff on the ice and we're trying to do all these toe drags and all these different moves, but in reality, if we can master passing, shooting, skating, we're going to be a lot better off.
All right, so what are we going to see today?
Well, what I would like to show these guys is just how to catch and release that puck quick. We think about our goaltender. He's squared up to us, and we want to get to the other side of the net before he does, flat out. We just want to get that puck off our stick quick.
All right, let's take a look.
All right, fellas. So as we're going through this movement, we attack the cone. You guys, you have the liberty to do whatever you want on that cone. A couple things we've already worked through. When we are working on our release, I want you guys to be thoughtful about your hands and your weight distribution. If we can get all of our weight, anticipating that puck, loading up our left leg, hands out away from our body, corral, catch, jump to our other foot, hands out, and we're exploding, trying to release that puck as quickly as we can. Make sense?
Take a look. Yeah, so it is timing, right? You got this one guy waiting up.
Timing's everything.
Hits him in stride, quick release. You know what else, Brian? I've often noticed that when guys or girls get the pass on their backhand, on their offhand, they have a little bit of trouble transferring that weight and shooting. What can we do here to kind of work on that?
It's one of the hardest skills. Honestly, a lot of players will have their stick like this, preparing to receive that backhand, and obviously, like, the puck's gonna pop in the air.
Yeah.
And so have our hands flat, blade flat, and it's counterintuitive, but we load up the opposite leg. We load up our left leg for a right shot, and then we jump over the puck onto our right leg with our hands up and release that puck.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Nice finish.
So obviously simplicity is key. We talked about that drill was not overly complicated, but there was a lot going on there.
There's a lot of components that go into a good quick release, you know, body position, hand position, you know, weight distribution, knowing where you want to put the puck, and it all has to happen instantaneously.
All right, so let's take a look at another one. We got a theme going here. Quick release, puck gets off that blade as fast as it can, easier it is to score. So what are we going to do now?
Well, we've done a couple of drills from left and right side of the ice, and now we're going to do one from below the goal line. And so we're going to put the puck in a position below the goal line off a cycle, and then F3 is going to come in and attack that net.
And they put it in for another point here.
Hopefully
Let's go.
Hopefully we'll score some goals. Yeah.
That was great, Brian. I think, you know, again, we saw a bunch of stuff here that it really addresses the fact that when you are in stride, there is a lot going on, but simplicity is key. And if you get that puck on that blade, get that puck off the blade quick, good things are going to happen.
I think we watch a little bit too much YouTube and a little bit too much NHL hockey, and they make it look so easy. And when we get out here and actually try to do it ourselves, we realize how many layers there are to just a simple release.
I want to thank the boys from CM. I want to thank the boys from the Boston Junior Eagles, and I want to thank Brian Pothier from Pothier Blue Line Hockey. And until next time, Brian, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm with Chris Nagy from the North Shore Hockey Academy. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Hi, Joel. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. Hey, tell us about your transition over to the North Shore Hockey Academy. I know you were at BBN before. Give us an idea of what you're up to.
Yeah, so I guess rewind about a year earlier, I got the long-term lease at Essex Sports Center. And, you know, right when I got that, I had become familiar with the academy model. And I knew this is such a blank canvas here. It's a fantastic facility, but it really is a blank canvas. And I wanted to, you know, obviously make it my own.
Let's talk a little bit about education. I know you want to bring somebody in to talk about Edgenuity, which is actually the academy part of or the educational part. Who do you got here?
Yeah, so this is Julie Conrad. She's our Swiss Army knife. She's also a physical trainer. And she's also a skating coach. She does a lot of edge work with the boys. They love it. But she handles a lot of the school side of everything. And she answers all those questions. And she's one of the best. So here she is.
Hi, Julie.
How are you?
Good, good. So tell us a little bit about Edgenuity, which is, I guess, the education portion of North Shore Hockey Academy.
Yep. So no better time than now for the online schooling. We went with Edgenuity thinking, you know, literature's literature, history's history. You're getting that same book no matter where you go. But here you get to hop on the ice, join with boils, have a nice meal, and get your education piece done all in one moment.
What better way to go to school when you have a nice sheet of ice right next to you? I wish I had that growing up.
Right? Great for this age level. They love it.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you.
Hey, Chris, tell us a little bit about the hockey portion of the North Shore Hockey Academy. I mean, you got hockey in your name, so I'm sure there's some good competition and some good skills going on over there.
Very best in New England, as far as I'm concerned. We play in the Full Season Beast, which is it's sort of a tournament-based hockey league. And then, you know, we have a good relationship with all the local academies. They're around here as well, with the Boston Hockey Academy and the Maine Nordiques specifically. So we kind of want to put together, you know, a Saturday night concept where these kids are playing in front of their peers and their friends, and make it sort of a more, you know, excitable product, if you will, sort of based off of high school hockey concept, but, you know, much different as far as competition goes.
Well, you guys are doing a great job, Chris. I definitely look forward to coming by and stopping by and taking a look at the facility. And until then, we'll see you soon.
And then someone made this. So when I played the Bruins, my third game in the NHL, and I was playing against, you know, like Lucic and Kratchenberg, and I had a pretty good game. I was like, I want to do this all the time. Like, I want to stay here.
Once Chris stepped on the Boston Garden ice as an NHL player, he knew this is where he was meant to be. And when he got the call from the Boston Bruins, there was no question that was his team.
It was unexpected at first, because when I was going through the free agency thing, that was the first time I was unrestricted. And you can talk to different teams. And I talked to, you know, 3 or 4 seriously. And I didn't think the Bruins were really serious. And then, you know, they kind of come out of nowhere and make a really good offer. And you're like, right away, you're like, in my head, I'm like, I'm going, like, I'm playing in Boston. No other discussion. I always wanted to play here. It's my dream. And then when you realize it's happening, like, wow, I actually can't believe this. And I remember I was at the driving range and called my parents, and they're both very emotional. I was emotional. I'll never forget the day that I was able to call them and tell them I was staying and playing at home. Pretty cool.
The Bruins. It's the Bruins. And I was like, what? The Bruins picked me up, and I was like, I don't think either one of us could speak. He was crying, as well.
It was kind of because of the situation, how it ended in Anaheim, and how they traded him to the Islanders, and how the Islanders were kind of a mess at the time because they end up firing their GM at the end of the year, hire new coaches, so you're kind of in limbo in that respect. When it finally happened, it was Chris called me, his brother Paul was at the gym, we're both crying. Yeah, pretty crazy.
What do you think, what was going through your head about your father when you first stepped on that ice?
Tears.
Yeah, it says just everything you'd think it would be. You waited, I don't know how many years, 20-something years just to get a shot, and you kind of go like, wow, you fought your way. Oh, yeah.
All of these years have led Chris Wagner to his ultimate goal, playing for his hometown Boston Bruins. His hard work has earned the respect of not only his teammates, but his opponents as well. It's not a coincidence that the culmination of all of Chris's hard work resulted in an award that is decided by the only opinion that really matters in Boston, the fans.
After looking at the list and going back and you win the 7th Player Award, and then you go back and see the names that are on the list, and you go like, man, that's a list.
It was really special. Like, I'm sure Pasta winning it, or Kretsch, or Marshy. It's kind of just another thing for them. But for me, first year home, and then you kind of get the support of the fans because you play hard. And it's not like I had, I did have career highs and goals and all that, but to get voted by the people of Boston as a Boston kid, that's pretty special. So. It meant a lot to me, and then to call them too and tell my parents and all my friends, it was awesome.
We've watched that forever, throughout Boston, knowing those that have previously won that, and such an honor, and just to know that to get that is just, it was crazy. I think people forget that it was never easy for him. He wasn't a big kid. He was a competitive kid. He was a hard-working kid. But he wasn't that top tier.
I think he'll be a great coach. I don't know if he'll necessarily be a coach for the entire team, but at least if we have kids, he'll be a great coach, because it's not like he was always the best player on the ice or the most skilled, but I think he was able to find a way through working hard to get to where he is today. And I think people like that make better coaches than people that were necessarily the most skilled.
I would say thank you. I would say thank you for giving back.
His ability on the ice are only paralleled by his attitude off of it. He is living his dream. He has his big contact, and he has the love of his hometown fans. The only question is, what comes next?